Hello, my name is Erica, and welcome to my channel. This is a huge book haul. Today I went to my public library book sale they have every year. In 45 minutes, I filled 2 bags with books, and then my sister and my niece came, and we walked through again, and I filled another 2 bags with books. And I gave myself a $40 budget, and I spent $44, so I feel good about it. I have a lot of books to show you, like a lot. So, in the first bag we have Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Classics. I don't know if I'm really going to give you much descriptions on these because there's so many. We have the second book in the Across the Universe trilogy. It's A Million Suns by Beth Revis. This has been like all over BookTube for years, I feel like. And I really wanted to check it out, and I was really excited to find this one. They didn't have Across the Universe, but I figured. And so I kept finding all the Narnia books like scattered about. So I tried to kind of piece together the ones I was missing. I currently only have the first one in the series. I think now all I'm missing is like 1 or 2 of them. But I got all of these ones, and these were 50 cents each too, so that's pretty awesome. So I got Prince Caspian, Last Battle, The Magician's Nephew, The Horse and His Boy, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Again, 50 cents each, kind of awesome. All different versions too, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, I don't even know. I have one, just I'm piecing together Chronicles of Narnia, because I knew I had one, but I don't have all of them yet. So anyway. I got A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle, which if you watch my latest, when you watch my June wrap-up, I actually read the graphic novel. In wrap-up, you'll hear about, I read the graphic novel of this, which, no, the story is awesome, graphic novel is not of the best quality, loveliness, like graphic novel-wise. Yeah. The story is really interesting, though, so I really wanted to start reading the actual series. It's actually a quintet, so there's 5 of them. But yeah, they had this one in a 50-cent bin, so got that. I also got, these are all like in the children's section, I think, the ones I'm showing you. Got Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, which somehow, I don't think I've ever read it. And this was like a brand, this is a beautiful copy. But I don't believe I ever read this. I know I owned it at one point. I don't remember reading it though, and I've always loved that movie anyway, so I'd like to read the book. Okay, another one. Silver Terror by C.S. Lewis, also in Chronicles of Narnia. I'm now only missing like a couple of them. Bridge to Terabithia by Katherine Paterson. This is another one. I love the movie. I got the book for my niece years ago, but I have never read it, so I decided, for 50 cents, I would definitely grab that. And this is like a cute little easy copy too. I like it. Here's another one that I owned for years, never read. Gave it away like for Hurricane Katrina library thing. Never picked it up again, and in the last couple of years I've like really wanted to read it. So it's The Giver by Lois Lowry. It's The Giver. I don't know how I've never read this. I think I started to read it a couple times when I was in school, when I was a kid, and never just got through it for whatever reason. So I would like to try again. So I have that. So that's one whole bag. Found these books there. I was so excited because some of these are really old copies. They're the things you find at library sales or estate sales. So this is actually Alicia Keys' Tears for Water Songbook of Poems and Lyrics. This came out, oh my god, the year after her first album, I think. I'm gonna look. In 2004, this came out. This is a really awesome copy too. This is literally, it was one of those ones that's been on my wish list for years because I love Alicia Keys, and I read a couple of them before and I liked it. I actually got stuck in the little poetry section for a while because I love poetry and I haven't read a lot of it in a while. So is that one. This was a fun find. This is The World's Best Fairy Tales. How pretty is that? Isn't it? Look at it. It's so pretty. And it actually has it was a gift to somebody. It's got little inscriptions in it. It's from Christmas. It's just adorable. It has a whole bunch though. It's got Aladdin's in here, Snow White's in here, The Little Mermaid. It's got a ton of different fairy tales, and I was kind of just glancing through and reading them, and they're not quite Grimm's, but they're definitely a different version of some of them, so I thought it would be kind of cool to read, because I love my fairy tales, so got that one. I like a memoir. Love Lucy by Lucille Ball. This has been on my wish list for years. This is literally just her memoir. being awesome in Lucy. I love Lucy. So here we are in the fun, like, pretty old. This is the kind of books when I was young and I used to go to the library and I just like take out a random book. I would literally go to like where I could find the oldest books and go by like the spine and be like, well, that one's pretty, and just like sniff it and take it home for, you know, a couple weeks or whatever and read through it. And I read like so many. It's how I read so much of Shakespeare when I was younger, before I was like in high school even. I read like Little Women and stuff like that because I loved the feel of an old book. So this is actually, it's by John Updike. It's Museums and Women, and I picked it up and I was like, oh, what? It's a bunch of like short stories, I guess, by John Updike. I read John Updike during college for my English degree, but I haven't read anything by him since, and it's just, I don't know, Museums and Women just struck me as a what? So that should be an interesting, just random read. This was totally fun. Look at how pretty it is. So somebody must have donated like every Reader's Digest version of books they had, because they had tons of these. And this one's not really like a Reader's Digest one, I don't think, but this is in like the same box, but super pretty. It's 4 novels by Mark Twain. I actually had in my hand this really nice old copy of, I shouldn't say really nice, this really old copy that was kind of falling apart, like the back cover was falling off and the front cover was, but it had a portrait of Mark Twain when you open it, which is kind of cool. Of Huckleberry Finn, because I read Tom Sawyer when I was in middle school. And I wanted to read Huckleberry Finn because I like Tom Sawyer so much, but I've never had it, so I wanted to get it. So I was going to grab that one, and then I saw this, and it had 4 novels, and it's the same price. It was still $2, so I was like, okay. So this one has The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Prince and the Pauper, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Courts, and then has some other stories by him as well. So, but it's got 4 complete novels in it, which is awesome. And it's Mark Twain, and sometimes you need a little Mark Twain. I like my Mark Twain. This is like some of the poetry stuff I grabbed. This is Poems of Longfellow, so this is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, which it actually has like the, what's it called? Song of Hiawatha, that's what it is. I hadn't read the Song of Hiawatha since I was in 4th grade. We did an entire lesson on Hiawatha, and we had to do all these things based on this poem, and I just was so excited. And it's such a nice little, I love old books like this. They're fun. I mean, they're just pretty. I love when you get new books like this. I mean, it's literally falling apart. You can hear like literally like me just holding it like this, I can hear it falling apart. But it's pretty cool. I was excited, and it's got a ton in it. So I'm excited to get into that one. Emily Dickinson poems. Again, I was stuck in the poetry section. I was feeling poetry today. I flipped it open, and the first 4 that were on like the page were all ones I remember really loving when I was a kid. I read her about the same time I started reading Edgar Allan Poe. I started reading Emily Dickinson, and I liked it. It was fun. So there's that one. This is the last one in bag number 2, which actually these are the last 2 bags. I did these backwards, but this one. Oh, I was really excited about this. So, see, pretty. It looked like sherbet. I was like, what is this book? And then I flipped it. And it's The Truth About Pygmalion by Richard Hughett, or Hubert, or Richard Huggett? Hughett? I don't know how you say it. Mystery Theater Herbitree from Pygmalion. Truth About Pygmalion. So, this is one of those things that just really weird. I picked it up and I was like, why don't I know what this is? And I was trying to figure it out, and then I was like, isn't Pygmalion like loosely where My Fair Lady came from? Like, I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. Correct. See, got your My Fair Lady stuff in here, because literally, Pygmalion is where My Fair Lady came from. But this is the truth about it. It's like some kind of story about where Pygmalion came from. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. It looked cool. It looked like, I literally picked it up because it looked like a creamsicle, but but that was that. 2 bags down. Look, number 3, which by the way, it's my Blogilates bag. Train like a bee, look like a beauty. Love it. This bag is fantastic too. This little tote bag. I got this for free for getting her book earlier this year, and I love it. It's my library bag. So this was the thing. My niece and my sister both gave me this space. I only bought 1 cookbook. 1. I glanced at the cookbook section, and I was like, I'm not seeing anything that's really standing out to me. And then in a box, because the way this book sale works is like tables. full of boxes of books, and then underneath there are boxes on boxes of books. So depending on how much you want a scavenger, you can find tons of books. So I was looking, and I leaned down, and I saw out of the corner of my eye this one. This is Giada De Laurentiis Everyday Italian. I have wanted this forever, but she's fantastic. So that's the only cookbook I got, though. So I was seriously, I shocked my family. But yeah, fun. Okay, what's in here? I don't even remember. I really don't remember what I picked up. These bags too. These two reusable bags I'm gonna grab. They were my first 2 trips. I actually filled these within 45 minutes, brought them out to my car, then went back in and grabbed a couple of plastic bags to fill up when my sister and my niece got there. Because I actually got there earlier. So yeah. So many books. Okay. So this is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I have another one of her books. Don't ask me what it is right now, but I do have another one of her books. I'm trying to see if I can see it from here. I have another one of her books, though. I heard she's really great, and this sounded really interesting. It's about a girl named Gemma Doyle, and she's just not like other girls or whatever. It just sounded like a really cool book. So that looked neat. This one's a book about pirates, right? It just sounded fun. I picked it up because it just looked random, but it just sounded. I mean, this is just the title: The Republic of Pirates, being the true and surprising story of Caribbean pirates and the man who brought them down, by Colin Woodard. So, really, it just sounded so neat. It's literally just like, it's all about like Blackbeard and his people and like all these gangs of pirates and how they eventually like were taken over or whatever. It sounded really cool. This one I found. It was hanging out in like a corner, and I just saw it because of Poe, because I like my Edgar Allan Poe. It's called The Poe Shadow. It's by Matthew Pearl, which is really weird because I bought another one of his books too, not even meaning to. It's in one of these, but it's actually the one that's like on the bottom of this here. And they say like author of blah. I actually bought the other book they're talking about. So this one is about, it's in 1849. It's in Baltimore, Maryland. Edgar Allan Poe has died. They found his body, and this guy is running around trying to figure out what happened in his last days. So that sounded kind of cool. It was in the street section. I made my way around this book. This one I actually asked somebody to pass to me because there were 5 people and nobody could get it. I was like, can I have that book right there? So if you've been watching my channel at all, you know that I like Jane Green. She's one of my favorites. I love her books and stuff, and I've just been trying to read all of them because I really just enjoy everything she writes. So this is Promises to Keep by Jane Green. And this one was, I mean, like, some of these were perfect condition. That was like a brand new book, and it was in a corner, and I couldn't reach it. And some very nice lady got it for me, so it was fine. This is a little teeny book. It's so cute. It's called The Slice of Snow, a Book of Poems by Joan Walsh England. And again, this was like one of those random ones. It was in the poetry section. I flipped it open because that's what I do. And I read like one of them, and I liked that it had, let's see if I can show you. I like that it had cute little, can you see the little baby? Cute little illustrations in it. So it looked fun. I don't know why. I always liked poetry, but I never really bought a lot of it. What was this one? Oh, this is The Ghostwriter by John Harwood. This one's synopsis was that this guy lives like with his wife or whatever, or not his wife. He's like in love with another person who's a writer or something, and he writes things, and then there's a ghost story that he knows from like his childhood that he writes into something. I don't know. It sounded like, I mean, it was a lot of convoluted craziness, but it sounded cool. What's this one? Oh my god, I bought so many books of poetry. I was reading poetry now. This was totally Owl Crate's fault. I would just like to say, in my Owl Crate there was an E.E. Cummings quote, and I then distinctly remembered how much I used to like E.E. Cummings, but I haven't read his stuff in forever. So this is a book of collected poems by E.E. Cummings. Go around with that. It's 3 bags, guys. Okay, so last one. First book. The Year of Pleasures, a novel by Elizabeth Bird. This one I heard of forever ago. I feel like I've read one book by Elizabeth Bird. I know I've read one book by her. I cannot remember what it is. And I have another one on my bookshelf somewhere that I bought from like forever ago to read by her too. But I have read one of her books before and I liked it. This one sounded really interesting, and just like on the back it says that the day you open this book, you will miss all your appointments because you will read it straight through. So it sounded pretty good. It looks like a short read. It just sounded interesting. This one sounded fun. I literally, some of them I picked up and like laughed out loud and threw them in my bag. Like, yep, that's coming home with me. This one is called The Man Who Ate a 747, a novel by Ben Sherwood. This is about a guy that his job is to be the record keeper for the like official thing of records. So think of like your Guinness World Records. He's the guy that goes and gets those records. So he has to like run around finding all this stuff, and it's about him and his life and everything, and that sounds really interesting. Oh my god. So we're gonna see a theme happen here. I was the first section of that you walk into in this book sale, because they do like a room they fill up, and then you come around a corner and go outside into these tents. Inside in this thing, the first whole section is just fiction. Like just fiction. Not young adult, just like regular fiction. And then it's like mystery, and then biographies, memoirs, vintage stuff, things from Maine, because I live in Maine, so things from the state, local stuff, history, military, politics, whatever. And then when you go outside, there's a tent full of like cooking and self-help, and there's some fantasy and sci-fi and romance. And then on the other side, there's all the kids, so it's young adult, teen, and then children's on children's, chapter books, big books, picture books, like whatever. So I spent like the first 20 minutes just going through the fiction line, and I literally just almost filled an entire bag right there. And I kept running into Anita Shreve. It's Shreve? It's Shreve, right? I have Atonement. No, not Atonement. Sorry, I mean, Atonement was Anne McEwen's, but I have, God, what do I have? I have one book by her, and I know it's right there. I'm literally staring. Oh, it's right there. I see it now. All I Ever Wanted. That's what it's called. It's literally next to Atonement. Apparently that's why my hand on Atonement. By Anita Shreve, and I haven't read it yet. Obviously, it's on my shelf. If you've watched any of these, you know my shelves are filled with books I have not read. They are my TBRs. My TBR piles. So Anita Shreve, I'm gonna say Shreve. I was walking through this section, and I ran into like 5 of her books in a row, and I flipped them open to read the synopses, and every one of them I was like, yep. I was like, apparently I'm really into the stuff she writes, because I need to get on reading her though. So now I have a whole bunch of her stuff. So this one is A Change in Altitude, and then I thought the other ones were right here, but I don't think they are now. There are like 3 more in here though. We'll run into them. I'm sure we will. I got The Other Bowling Girl by Philippa Gregory. I wanted to read this forever. I love this movie. I like Philippa Gregory anyway. I read a sample of one of her books, I want to say like 10 years ago, and I loved it. And then ever since, I've been like determined that I'm going to buy her books so I can read them, or borrow the books, or get them in some fashion so I can read them. And I just haven't yet. So now I have The Other Bowling Girl, which is the only one I actually already know the story of. But you know. I got classic One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. Casey? This is another one that I've never read. I've never read, and I know it's classic, and people say you should read it and stuff. I've never seen the movie either. Go figure. I can't get these out. Oh, this was so fun. So this was in the children's section, and I grabbed it up the second I saw it. It was one of those like a box under a box under a box. So this is Mary Poppins. And Mary Poppins Comes Back by P.L. Travers, because I absolutely love Mary Poppins. Like, that's hands down one of my favorite movies, like as far as the live action like Disney movies are concerned. I really like the story and everything, but I've never read the books, and they have both of them just hanging around all cute and lovely. I was excited. They're a little beat up, but as long as I can read the book, I don't care how beat up it is. I really don't. It's okay. Because, it happens. Oh, this one looks really interesting. So, I love the book Lolita. I know that might sound kind of weird, but I had to read it for school. My last year of college, my last class I took, one of them was a writing seminar, and the other one was this fiction-related class. Because you read, like, a banned book, or one that, like, really, like, just, it's off-putting to people, right? You had to pick, like, a book that was, like, out of the box, And off this list, I picked Lolita, and I loved it. I thought it was like, it's crackheaded and it's weird, but it's so good. It's such a ride, and I really liked it. So I saw this in a box, and I went, well, that sounds interesting. It's called Reading Lolita in Tehran, which I think I said that right. Tehran, right? A memoir in books. It's by Azar Nafisi, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. So it's a memoir in books. It's literally about a group of people in Tehran that meet as a secret group, and they read Western books, and banned Western books, and they learn like through that. So like they read things like Lolita and like all these other things, and it just sounded kind of fascinating. Like they literally read Jane Austen, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Henry James, Vladimir Nabokov, and it just sounded so fascinating to me. I'm like, really? Like, that's just so weird. It's one of those things for me anyway. Like, banned books don't make any sense to me. But lots of things do. So these are the other Anita Shreve books I got. I got The Pilot's Wife, and Testimony, both of which sounded really great. This one I tried before The Pilot's Wife. This one, when I was reading the thing for it, I was like, oh, I think I might have heard of this one too. So this one takes place at a boarding school in New England, and there's a sex scandal. And this one is about a pilot's wife, which, if you've never heard of it, it's about a woman who is like used to the fear of like somebody knocking on her door saying her husband's dead. But she finds out that it like exploded or whatever, and then it's this whole crazy thing about rumors and all this stuff happening that people think that something happened to the plane or whatever. It just sounds really fascinating, and the stuff she has to live through because of that. And I've wanted to read that book forever. The one that I already have, I don't even know what it's about, to be completely honest. Stupid ones. I can't believe how many books I have. This has been on my list forever. How I have not read this book yet amazes me. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I want it the day, literally before this came out, I got like some flyer in the mail. Because I belong to one of those like book club things where you got a couple books like every month or whatever for a while. And this book was on it like as a pre-order, and I remember really thinking, oh my god, I really want to get that book, but I'm like done with this club, I'm not gonna do it anymore, I'll just save it for some point. And I still hadn't gotten it, and this is like a fabulous, it's like basically shelfware. It's got a couple little blubbies, but that's it. Awesome. Like, I don't know, I amaze myself with stuff. Oh, I have another. Oh my god, how many did I get? Another Anita Shreve. This one's Resistance. Tale of Impossible Love. Well, you got me there. That sounds fun. Okay. I have a friend that I used to work with, and she sat behind me at work, and she was obsessed with this book and this movie and everything, and she basically berated me for being like 10 years older than her and never having read it. So when I saw it today, I was like, I can get that for $2, and it's that kind of copy. It's so crazy too. So this is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, right? Let me see if I was right. Margaret Mitchell, I was right. So here's the cool thing about it. So this is like I wonder if it'll tell me how old it is. It should somewhere. This is a super, super old copy. It doesn't even have like the thing. You can tell though, it's kind of beat up. I found it on another shelf after I purchased this one where it wasn't like taped back together, but I'd already bought this one for $2. So this is the most interesting thing to me, because you already know, like, Gone with the Wind is a massive book. It's in this kind of form, in the column form, so it's almost like when you like read a Bible or something. I find that really interesting. I thought it was kind of cool, and I literally was like, "Can I read it this way?" I was like, "I think so. I think I can swing it." And it doesn't have like actual like stops for the chapters. They're just kind of like halfway down the page. It'll be like chapter 7 or whatever. But yeah, I was really interested in it. It's a totally broken, beat up copy, but I'm down for it. I don't really care. It'll be fun. In the kids section, I found this book called Queen's Gambit. It's by Elizabeth Fremantle. And it's a novel, and it's a historical fiction. It's about Catherine Parr, who falls for a guy or whatever. Thomas Seymour is his name. And she's gonna marry for love, but then she has to go back to court, and she's really not happy about it. But all this stuff happens, and like Henry VIII is in it, and it's just there's this whole massive thing where all this stuff happens based on she's in love with this guy, but she can't be with him, and Henry VIII wants her, and all this stuff. It sounded really interesting. Historical fiction is fun as far as I'm concerned, and yeah, I actually like the little thing on the cover. It says "Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived." That just sounded fun too. So there's that one. There's only 2 more, guys. 2 more. Oh, this was the other one by Matthew Pearl. The one that was by Matthew Pearl, and I said I had bought. He's the one that wrote the Poe Shadow too, and it said underneath he read this. This is called the Dante Club. This is a book that I heard about, I think, like 4 years ago, and I keep almost mooching it, but then I know I don't have any room on my shelves. Which, by the way, all of these books, I have no idea where I'm gonna put them. I feel like I should just like surround myself in a book fort and not come out and just read them all. That'd be kind of awesome, actually. How fun would that be? Just surround yourself with a bunch of books and just read for days. And be like, I can't come out, I'm reading. Yeah. Anyway, so this book is about, it's 1865. It takes place in Boston, and there's all these murders happening, and they're based on scenes from Dante's Inferno. If you've never read Dante's Inferno, go get it. It is like the most fascinating, like crazy, like really like batshit crazy stuff happening, but it's so good. I love Dante's Inferno. That's one of those books I read in college. I was really, really happy about. But yeah, so this is really interesting because it's just that alone for me, like that somebody even would like use that. Sounds fun. So then, score. Okay, Lux Beginnings. So this one is a booktube one that I've heard about. I've never read Jennifer L. Armentrout, but obviously she's a booktube favorite, and I heard about this on somebody else's. I don't remember whose now. I would call you. I would say who, but I really don't remember which booktube it was because I feel like everybody talks about Lux. So this is Lux Beginnings. It has Obsidian and Onyx in it, which are the first 2 in. I think there's 6 in this series, if I remember right. But yeah, this here. Entangled Teen. It's the Entangled Teen one. It's the collector's edition. It's in fantastic condition. Somebody only paid $8 for it in general. I paid 50 cents for this. 50 cents? Do you know how happy I am? I was just, it was just sitting in a box off to the side, and I went, and I grabbed it. That's the same time I grabbed the second one in Across the Universe too, for the same reason that I was just like, oh my god, I've heard those are supposed to be really good. I've wanted to read those, so I am like all over it. I'm very excited about that. So that is my massive book haul from the library, and again, I say $44 bought me all of those books. I am very excited about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I know a lot of them people have already read them. If you have an opinion as to which one I should start with in this giant pile, or place in which like, how do you store books when you have no room left on your shelves? Anybody? I think I have room for maybe 4 looking at my shelves. So it's gonna be interesting. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please hit like, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below with anything you would like to. Have a great day. Happy reading.